In a world dominated by chaos, fleeting desires, and ceaseless distractions, one man stood as a beacon of unwavering discipline and inner strength: Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. His life was far from easy. He ruled during a time of great turmoil, wars, plagues, and political strife, but through it all he maintained a daily routine that was meticulously designed to cultivate wisdom, resilience, and self-control. This routine wasn't merely a set of habits, it was the embodiment of Stoic principles, guiding him to overcome the destructive emotions that could have unraveled a lesser man. Sit back and relax as today you will delve into the daily rituals that shaped Marcus Aurelius into a leader, philosopher, and Stoic paragon. These practices are not relics of the past. They are powerful tools you can incorporate into your own life to cultivate the fortitude, self-mastery, and inner peace that are the hallmarks of a true Stoic. Now let's begin. Number 1. Early rising, the Stoics' vigil. Marcus Aurelius understood the value of the early morning hours, those moments before the world awakens, when the mind is clearest and distractions are few. He began his day before dawn, when the first light of day had yet to touch the horizon. This was a time for solitude, reflection, and mental preparation. He wrote in Meditations, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I have to go to work as a human being.'" This statement reveals a profound truth. Life itself is your work. The morning hours are not for idleness, but for preparing your mind and spirit for the trials of the day. Rising early is not just about being productive, it's about setting the tone for the entire day. It's a declaration of intent, a commitment to face whatever challenges arise with clarity and resolve. By waking early, you give yourself the gift of time to think, to plan, and to reflect. The dawn becomes your ally, helping you greet the day with a mind sharpened by reflection and ready for action. Number 2. Reflection and meditation, the morning's armor. Before the demands of the day could encroach upon him, Marcus Aurelius dedicated time to reflection and meditation. One of the core practices he engaged in was premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This was not a morbid dwelling on negative possibilities, but a Stoic exercise in mental fortification. By imagining the potential difficulties and obstacles he might face, Marcus prepared himself to respond with equanimity and reason, rather than with impulsive emotion. Premeditatio malorum is a powerful tool in your own Stoic arsenal. By mentally rehearsing the challenges you may encounter, whether it's a difficult conversation, an unexpected setback, or even a personal loss, you arm yourself against surprise and despair. When the anticipated hardship arises, you are not caught off guard. This practice is your armor, protecting you from the distractions and temptations that can lead you astray. Number 3. Self-examination, the daily inventory. Marcus Aurelius believed that the unexamined life is not worth living. Each day he engaged in self-examination, a practice rooted in the Stoic tradition of constant self-improvement. He would ask himself questions like, "What did I do well today? Where did I fall short? How can I do better tomorrow?" This was not an exercise in self-reproach, but in cultivating a clear understanding of his own character and actions. Self-examination is crucial for anyone striving to live according to Stoic principles. It requires honesty, humility, and a willingness to confront your own flaws. Marcus Aurelius understood that wisdom is not something you achieve once and for all. It is something you cultivate daily through reflection and adjustment. By regularly examining your thoughts, words, and actions, you can ensure that they align with your highest values. In your own life, make time for this daily inventory. At the start of the day, set your intentions. At the end of the day, reflect on how well you lived up to them. Number 4. Purposeful action, the Stoic's duty. For Marcus Aurelius, every action had to be purposeful, every decision aligned with the greater good. He believed deeply in the Stoic concept of katathoma, or right action, actions that are in harmony with nature and reason, and that contribute to the common good. He lived by the principle that what we do now echoes in eternity. This sense of duty and purpose permeated every aspect of his life, from the grand decisions of state to the smallest acts of daily living. Living with purpose is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. It requires that you not only understand your role in the world, but also commit to fulfilling it to the best of your ability. Marcus Aurelius knew that his position as emperor came with immense responsibilities, but he approached them with the same Stoic mindset as any other task, whether small or grand. He acted with reason, integrity, and a deep sense of duty to his people. In your own life, identify your purpose, your duty. This might be your role within your family, your work, or your community. Whatever it is, approach it with the same sense of responsibility and dedication that Marcus Aurelius brought to his duties. Number 5. Embracing hardship, the training ground of the mind. Marcus Aurelius did not merely endure hardship, he embraced it as a necessary part of life. He saw difficulties not as impediments to his progress, but as opportunities to practice and strengthen his Stoic virtues. He famously wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This statement encapsulates the essence of Stoicism, transforming obstacles into opportunities for growth. This mindset was not abstract philosophy for Marcus. It was a practical approach to life. When faced with illness, loss, or political turmoil, he did not lament his fate. You too can adopt this Stoic approach to hardship. When difficulties arise, resist the urge to complain or feel sorry for yourself. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this challenge make me stronger, wiser, or more resilient? Hardship is not your enemy, it is your greatest teacher. Number 6. Moderation in all things, the Stoics' balance. As the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, Marcus Aurelius had access to every luxury imaginable. Yet, he chose to live a life of moderation. He understood that excess leads to indulgence, which in turn weakens the soul and distracts from one's higher purpose. He practiced temperance in all aspects of his life, maintaining a balance that kept his mind sharp and his body disciplined. In Stoic philosophy, moderation is not about deprivation, but about maintaining balance. It's about enjoying life's pleasures without becoming enslaved by them. Marcus Aurelius knew that a life of excess, whether in food, drink, power, or even emotions, leads to a loss of control and a weakening of one's character. In your own life, strive for moderation, not just in material possessions, but in your emotions and desires. Avoid extremes, and find the balance that allows you to live in harmony with your principles. Number 7. Continuous learning. The Stoic scholar. Despite his status as emperor, Marcus Aurelius never stopped learning. He surrounded himself with wise advisors, studied philosophy, and reflected on the teachings of Stoic masters like Epictetus and Seneca. He understood that wisdom is not a destination, but a lifelong journey. The mind, like a blade, must be constantly sharpened through study, reflection, and the pursuit of knowledge. For Marcus, continuous learning was not just an intellectual exercise, it was a moral duty. He believed that as a leader, he had the responsibility to seek wisdom in order to govern justly and wisely. He wrote, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if thou wilt ever dig." This metaphor of the fountain illustrates his belief that wisdom is a wellspring within each of us, one that must be continually tapped and nourished. You too must commit to continuous learning. Remember the words of Seneca, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." Number 8. Practicing gratitude, the Stoics' appreciation. Gratitude was a cornerstone of Marcus Aurelius's daily practice. Despite the immense pressures and challenges he faced as emperor, he took time each day to reflect on what he was grateful for. This practice helped him maintain perspective and keep his focus on what truly mattered. In Meditations, he wrote, "Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours." Gratitude for Marcus was not just a fleeting emotion, but a disciplined practice. It reminded him of the abundance in his life and prevented him from falling into the trap of constantly seeking more. In your own life, make gratitude a daily practice. Take time each day to reflect on the blessings you have, whether they are material possessions, relationships, or personal qualities. As Epictetus said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Number 9. Evening Reflection, the Stoics' Retrospective. As night fell, Marcus Aurelius would engage in a practice of evening reflection, reviewing the events of the day with a critical yet compassionate eye. This was his time to assess his actions, correct his course, and prepare for the challenges of tomorrow. He understood that wisdom is not just in the grand gestures, but in the small daily acts of self-improvement. Marcus often used this time to revisit his morning reflections and see how well he lived up to the intentions he set. He would ask himself, did I act with virtue today? Did I let destructive emotions control my actions? How can I do better tomorrow? This practice of evening reflection was his way of holding himself accountable and ensuring that he continued to grow as a person and as a leader. In your own life, adopt this practice of evening reflection. Before you rest each night, take a few moments to review your day. Number 10. Acceptance of mortality. Finally, Marcus Aurelius never forgot the impermanence of life. He regularly contemplated his own mortality, not as a morbid exercise, but as a reminder to live fully and with intention. In Meditations, he wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This acceptance of death is not a resignation, but a liberation. It frees you from the fear that binds so many and empowers you to live with purpose and clarity. In your own life, embrace this Stoic understanding of mortality. Life is fleeting, and that very impermanence is what makes each moment so precious. The daily routine of Marcus Aurelius was not just a series of habits. It was a disciplined practice of Stoic principles that forged him into the philosopher-emperor you revere today. As you reflect on his life and his practices, remember that you too have the power to shape your destiny. By embracing these Stoic principles in your own daily routine, you can cultivate the resilience, wisdom, and inner strength to face whatever life may bring. The path of Stoicism is not an easy one, but it is the path to true mastery of the self, and in that mastery, you will find the freedom that Marcus Aurelius cherished above all. Good day.